At this moment, I am a case manager and a learning disabilities diagnostician. I have been an educator for more than 22 years. So I moved from Puerto Rico. I was already an English teacher, and I already had I have my first master's in translation there. I did an investigation and a translation in Martinique for 3 years. Then I moved into Connecticut with my first daughter in 1998. I became activist not because I had an epiphany, I'm going to be an activist. No, it just happened because I saw issues in the schools where my kids were, and I became vocal about those issues. And it just happened. It's like I had no choice. If I don't speak up for my community or for myself, it's like we let things happen or to us. Then in 2007, 2008, I moved to Jersey. And I became a French and Spanish teacher in Connecticut. And I went through the certification and the best portfolio and all those rigorous training that they gave to us, because in order to teach in Connecticut, I start from the bottom again, even although I came from Puerto Rico. So I had to start bottom up, like there was nothing. And then in Connecticut, I finished my second master, which was in French and in Francophone literature. Then I moved to Jersey, and they gave me the reciprocity, the certificate from Connecticut to here. That was easy. And I continued working as a Spanish and French teacher. Bumpy road again. There was a budget cut in one of the districts I worked. And I end up in a Catholic school. Okay, I end unemployment. Let me start there. I end up unemployed. They gave us 43 of us a pink slip. So, and it was when the former governor Chris Christie, he made a budget cuts. So many of us lost our jobs. So I went into unemployment, but I didn't want to stay unemployed because I said to myself, it was good money what I was getting. First, I don't have an insurance with unemployment. I'm being practical. And number two, how I am going to justify in a resume that I've been living on unemployment for 6 or, that doesn't look, I don't recommend that to anybody. So I found a job quick in a Catholic school, but my salary was cut by 20,000. From 55, I went to 35,000. And we have to move from a 3-bedroom home to a 1-bedroom apartment. And I did it with obedience. I found the lady, the principal in that school, she helped me. She gave me insurance for me and my daughters. So I stayed there, and I said, I'm going to retire from here, because I was happy at the Catholic school. But the Catholic school, the nuns closed it. Okay. So I went back to public schools. I bounced back again. You see, it's not it's not a linear. It's just bump, and then I went to and then I recuperate those 20 that I lost, and back again, and from there, everything started growing for me. And of course, if I am doing well, my kids are doing well because I can provide for them. But what I learned from the experience of losing my job was I have to live in obedience. That's what happened. I took it as it was. I was thankful for it. I enjoy it. I really budget what I needed. I called the places that I owe money to reduce my payments. They did. And there was a lot of things that I was wasting money that I shouldn't. So I really learned how to budget. And still my daughters can't believe, my older one, because I have a 28-year-old and her first job was 55. And I told her, I was doing 35 with both of you, the three of us. I said, Mom, how could you do it? Because they never knew I was being stretching and counting pennies but God provides, and now I'm in a much better situation, And that's why also, yeah, I still have my struggles and my debts and student loans and my daughter's student loans. I do a lot of volunteer work, volunteering, translation, trying to give back um, all that I'm receiving now. There are things that you cannot purchase with money, and there are things that I want that money cannot give me, like the health of some relatives, and I'm praying for that. So the more I give.
So talk to me, because when we're talking about those struggles, the other part that a lot of people fail to mention is, you did what you did, but also as a Latina, there are some hurdles to cross.
Yes,
So
the accent.
what were, is there something specific that you had an issue with, or a time where you were like, I can't, I have all my paperwork is here, I have all the credentials, but still it's not enough, or just anything that may have been a hindrance?
Well, I think part of was my self-confidence was not as it is right now.
Okay.
That's number one. And there was fear. I came from Puerto Rico, so I am like gravitate more towards people of color because that's where I was. So in this new environment, I was afraid. And then that also, I don't want to say reduced my confidence of the abilities that I had. One thing that I noticed was, yes, there's bias. I have a strong accent, but I haven't done anything to change it, and I'm not going to. You take me, you give me a job with my accent, or you don't want it, well, okay. I'm not going to negotiate that. That's part of who I am. This is one of the things that I think has bothered more. I see people, once I open my mouth, they look at me, okay, once I open my mouth, I see a change in their approach, or questioning my abilities, questioning, do you really have that degree? How come? Where did you get that? And also, I am not pretentious, because how could I be? Every talent that we have is to serve. It's not for, oh, I have a master. I am better than anybody else. That doesn't work that way. This is not the way. It's okay. Those are God-given talents, because, like I told my not my family, my daughters, I could have been born with a disability. I couldn't be right now with a disability, not even be able to be here now. Right. So this is what God-given. It's not that I have it myself. So yes, I noticed that the accent part. I wouldn't say the color, because the color is obvious, but it's just when I speak, okay. And I see that it annoys, and it closes doors.
Wow. And so, what were some of the things that you did? Like, because you mentioned before that you it hurt your confidence a little. Like, you're more confident now. So, what were some of the things that you did?
Okay.
Like, what would you want another young woman to hear?
Okay, they need to hear this. I was very afraid to speak in public. So that there's a part in the Bible that Solomon asked God for wisdom. So that's what I did. Good. You have to give me the confidence to speak. So what I did was, I knew I had to really target that, because at any moment in my job, they were going to ask me to do a presentation. So I went to Toastmasters 2-3 times. I couldn't, because also I was studying, continue, but then I started putting myself outside for speeches.
Right.
So I went to I've been doing a lot of presentations. I went to the Learning Disabilities Association of New Jersey for a presentation on mindfulness. Then I did 3 more for students. Then I went did a presentation about dyslexia in the National Northeast Conference of Foreign Language Teachers, dyslexia and the foreign language learner. Wow. They didn't want that. I have been pushing that topic for 3 years, and finally they accepted it because it's inclusion.
Right.
And then what other one? I went to France and did a presentation about a paper that it was published by a journal in England. I never thought those things were going to happen to me. That was not part of the plan.
Right.
I did another one. I did another training in the climate reality project of former Vice President Al Gore.
Okay.
So they gave me, I co-presented with another climate leader, Brian Edling, and that was another way to just speak up. And then he told me the first time we present, he said, Maria, it came longer than we planned. You were talking too much. So, too much. It's like I lost the fifth and it came. So the second time I became aware. Okay, let me reduce, but I wasn't practicing.
Right.
Practicing, and then I see them being receptive to the way I speak. Probably it was on my mind.
Right.
But I did not get if they had those reactions, they never got back. They never,
Right.
I never received them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, but
That's good.
if you know you have a weakness, the challenge is going to come from that weakness. It's going to come in a job. It's going to come in a relationship. It's going to, if it's jealousy, if it's insecurity, it is we need to work on this because the enemy is going to attack us from that. And if you go to a job and go, okay, I'm afraid to speak in public. Okay, can you do a presentation at the meeting? And you can say no. You have to be able to do it.
Talk to me a little bit about your activism, how you got into the whole climate change and that part of it.
Well, I started in Connecticut as my older daughter's school principal. She didn't know I was a school teacher in Puerto Rico. Then my daughter's teacher told her that I was a teacher in Puerto Rico. So she brought me in to start advocating with parents for the pre-K, bilingual pre-K.
Okay.
So that's how I started.
Okay.
My kid was 8 years old. No, 7, and I was pregnant. But that's how I started in Connecticut.
Right.
And then from there, that was with Anna James. After we did the presentation and the pre-K was approved bilingual, because there was a lot. I'm talking about 1998, 1999, 2000. There was a lot of rejection for immigrants there. Mm-hmm. The population of the constituents in that town didn't want to pay taxes because they were saying they were paying taxes for not their kids, the immigrant kids. Okay. So we have to push for the budget to open the programs. And then I became part of a group, bilingual group of parents its name was CURE. And in that group I worked like 3 years. We did car caravans, we did educational forums. If there was a meeting and they needed parents to they needed us to translate, we would go to the meeting to translate for the parents. That was our volunteer work. But now my kids were, and I used to get my kid 2 years old with me in all those meetings. And let me tell you, my family wasn't too happy because I was supposed to be home.
Right. The culture.
The culture.
Yeah. You have to cook, wash, everything.
How are you going to be doing all that? You think you're going to solve the problems of the town? And then the same school principal asked me if I could join the Connecticut Coalition for Education Funding, for Justice and Education Funding. So my daughter and I became one of the plaintiffs from 2003 until I moved to New Jersey. Okay. And we sued the state of Connecticut.
Oh.
So it is in, they still struggling with that. Okay. We are in the first document of the plaintiffs. The clinic of Yale University were the ones who coached us. There, if you Google my name or my daughter's name, you'll see the articles from the newspaper from that time. Right. And now, because they follow us in New Jersey to see what my daughter is doing, my younger daughter.
And because they're trying to find information
So,
about you guys?
yes, for example, what happened to that girl who was in second grade? The mom was, I was a school teacher,
Right.
but I was doing the district. I was working.
Wow. Okay. Hey, they weren't doing what you wanted them to. Yeah.
And so you earn a lot of what?
Yeah.
People don't like you, and I was
Because you were calling them out.
I
Yeah.
was calling them out for special ed, limited education for African Americans, and limited services for bilingual and ESL students, immigrants. But I had the support of the superintendent,
Wow.
so he was part of it too. Okay, so it was a huge,
Yeah.
and then we moved to Jersey. I have family here, the family friends, not really family friends, and then here I became more like domestic for 2 years. But you still have those
Yeah. That
that desire of do something. I don't know anybody in New Jersey, but okay, I think they don't need me like it's not as intense as it was over there.
Right.
Oh, we used to write articles for the newspaper, go to protests. It was very intense.
In Connecticut.
So here I have like a hiatus of 2 years, and then I joined when Obama decided to run. Then I joined OFA,
Okay.
and then I started learning about campaigning because I knew I was an activist, but I didn't know too much about campaigning.
Sure.
So it's different.
Yes.
But I felt I was useful, and from there, I got a scholarship from OFA, and I went to the first training of climate reality. So I became a climate leader, and then they called me. Then I applied to be a mentor, and I was accepted. And then this third time, I was one of the trainers. So it has been I've been growing
Yes.
in my skills. I also in New Jersey, I have that gave me the ability also to and the knowledge to organize two rallies, the People's Climate Movement in 2017 and 18, where I was one of the speakers. So again, I was my weakness.
Yes.
And then what else? And then I wrote a chapter about climate crisis and education in an anthology.
Yes.
With all scientists and experts in the environment. I am the only educator there who's not
Right.
at the level they are, but
That's
it's
a
an
big deal.
honor for me that I wrote that, and that I was part of that project that we started in 2017. And I also, in April, I already registered a nonprofit
Okay.
on my name, the New York and New Jersey Awareness Project for Climate Justice.
Yes.
So it has been, and then when I feel like I'm too quiet, okay,
You always have to be doing something. Okay.
I don't.
Well, what could you say, or what would you want to say to any young woman who's just trying? You know what I mean? That they're finding maybe, the same difficulties as you. They're coming and they're finding a cap. Like I've come here, but I can't get any further. Like, what do you want to leave our young women knowing?
Well, I would like to let them know that we have a path, and we are not competing chronologically with anybody. If you get your BA at 28, that's fine. If you get it at 22, that's fine. Unless you don't lose that goal. If you can focus in your school, the rest will come together. Friends and having a family and all that, but focus first on what you can have for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to put yourself in a very difficult position.